Hello cyclists, welcome. Have a look at this very special, super interesting fat bike. It's the Basalt from Mokwheel. Mokwheel is a Chinese brand located in Shenzhen, and it sells their very interesting and feature-loaded e-bikes in the US and in Europe. And Mokwheel, the founder, was like, maybe you can call him a mobility nerd, because he was so much into hover bikes and into e-scooters, and now he's revolutionizing sustainable transportation, locomotion with e-bikes. And this one here, it's called Basalt, and Basalt is a stone. Actually, when you do build a new street, you need the stone, you need Basalt. And as you can see, yes, definitely a good companion to cycle on the streets, this e-bike, but also if you want to go off-road for all terrains. We start, of course, with the motor, because this is a very, very powerful motor. The motor is located in the rear hub, which gives you a very pushy, very powerful feeling when you cycle. And it is powerful because the motor has 90 Newton meters. So this is, of course, when you cycle the streets, like, is there something even more powerful than a rocket? So it's really very, very interesting feeling when you cycle this bike, especially when you choose a level of pedal assistance that is a bit higher. But with this 90 Newton meters, of course, when you cycle on grass or in the woods, this is definitely something you can easily use, and you can use to easily go up even steeper hills. And also, like, massive is the battery that is located here in the down tube. Still open from charging. So as you can see, you can take out the battery. The battery is massive because it has 960 watt hours. So this gives you a really, really long range, up to 130 kilometers. Of course, always depending on what pedal assistance level you're choosing. But overall, this bike is definitely for touring. And in the US, for example, a lot of people that do live in mobile homes have this bicycle because you're like very independent. And here comes a very interesting and very cool accessory that will also be available in Europe. It's solar panels. So then you're really literally off the grid, because you can charge your bike wherever you are. You don't even need sun. It's just like you need daylight. And this bicycle, well, the solar panels is an extra accessory, as well as an extra power bank with 1000 watts peak performance. So this can be a power outlet for your mobile phone, of course, to charge your e-bike, and like everything you can think of, your laptop. And if you do have a mobile phone, you can use the hairdryer or the microwave. So it's definitely a very interesting concept. And I would say, when I have a closer look how like the hobbies and what my friends do in their spare time since COVID, definitely mobile homes became very high ranked. But let's get back to the motor and the battery. So super strong, very powerful motor, and a really huge, very interesting battery, because it also has an intelligent management system concerning the charging. This means the battery will last really, really long, many charging cycles. And this bike has a torque sensor, which gives you a very intuitive, very natural riding experience. So what does a torque sensor do? A torque sensor measures how hard you push the pedal. And when you push the pedal really hard, you get a lot of assistance. And if you like rather a light pedal pusher, then you don't get so much support, which is pretty cool, especially when you do cycle on grass or on woods or off terrain, because then you can really need this feature. It's very, very cool. Also, this bicycle needs a strong motor, because due to the fact that the motor is so strong and the battery is so huge, the bike weighs 35 kilograms. So this is definitely like a lot to carry. So that's what you have to know. So if you want to carry it up a flight of stairs or down to the cellar, maybe not so good. As important as the motor and the battery, of course, is the gearing system. In this case, Mokwheel did choose a Shimano 7-gear system. Usually I'm a friend of belt drives, but in this case, because this bike is more for touring, maybe a little mountain biking, and not only cycling on streets, definitely better choice to have a gearing system with a chain. And I was actually cycling most of the time in gears 3 to 7 and felt very cool, very natural. I really like the rapid fire here, where you can change the gears with the thumb and with the index finger system that I really appreciate. Also very important when you do ride the 25 kilometers that are allowed in the EU. Well, and in the US you can even go faster, but in the EU the motor has 250 watt hours, so you can only reach 25 kilometers. Brakes, very important, and Mokwheel did choose for this model the Basalt texture disc brakes with 180 millimeters that work really, really well. Also pretty beautiful, pitch black, as you can see, are the brake levers. Of course, I told you already, the brakes are working really well, and the brake levers, if you use them, they feel really nice. Also pretty cool, there's a suspension fork in the front, as you can see, which gives you a very cool feeling when you cycle not on the streets, but even then maybe sometimes when you go up and down a pavement, it's very comfortable. So overall this bike is very comfortable, but if you have a closer look at the handlebar, it's very broad, it's very straight, so definitely something we know from mountain bikes. And as I was cycling, I was sitting pretty upright. Of course, you can adjust the sitting position. As you can see, the stem can be individualized, and of course the height. But I felt it as well as I was cycling on the street and as I was doing some tours on very rough underground, it was quite comfortable. The saddle also, of course, is quite responsible for this very comfortable sitting position. So maybe not the most beautiful, very chic and innovative design, but very, very comfortable. Well, this bike, if you have a closer look, for me very important is the design. And what I really like is the special way how they produce the frame, because you see no welding. I really like how it's coated. I love the color options, so please do check out the website concerning the color. And it's definitely very unique concerning the design. As it is an e-bike, of course, this bicycle has a display. It's located here in the middle of the handlebar. It's colorful, that is very cool, and you do have all the information you need or do not need, always depending on what how much information you need. For me it's a little bit too much, but it's all the information when you do cycle an e-bike that I would recommend to see. It's like how the battery is charged, how fast you are, and what level of assistance you're in. And this is pretty cool because this bike has 5 different levels of pedal assistance. When you're just commuting, you would only use, or I did just use level 1 and 2. But when I was doing a tour, I definitely needed more support, and I was very happy that I had 3, 4 and 5. Also very, very cool, as a day like today when the sun is shining pretty brightly, you still see everything on the display. That is absolutely cool. Not only the sitting position is quite comfortable, also like my weak point when I cycle a lot are my wrists. And Mokwheel did choose ergo grips, and they do have this little gel pads that make it even more comfortable. This is of course not when you're commuting again, but when you're doing tours and there's a lot of weight and a lot happening around in the wrist and in the shoulders. What I don't like so much, to be honest, is the cable situation. Yes, an e-bike needs a lot of cables, like the gearing system, the display, the brakes, but yeah, it's compact, it's okay, it's very robust, and there's internal cable gearing, what I again appreciate when the cables are not hanging around on the frame. Also located on the handlebar is this little remote. Of course, then you can switch on and switch off the bicycle, choose the different modes of assistance, and you can switch on and off the light, and you can go deeper into the menu, and there you can individualize like the language, the brightness, etc. The lights, super bright, super nice. To be honest, the front light, it reminds me a little of WALL-E. It's an animation film from Disney, maybe you saw it, but it's so cute. I really like the design of the lights, but of course, most importantly, they really work very well, especially when you're like cycling at night, maybe in nature where there are no other different lights that help you to see what's going on in front of you. And it is a fat bike, because when you have a closer look at the tires, there's no underground where you will not feel safe. Even when it's very muddy and slippery, at least you have a lot of grip with these tires. So sometimes I feel this is really a good companion when you're like a nature guy, when you're spending a lot of time somewhere in the woods, on the grass, in the gravel. So I really had the feeling when I was touring with this bicycle, it was like a super good companion. So no matter how the conditions were, it always felt very comfortable. And I was even thinking of maybe adjusting the seating position, because when I was cycling in the streets, I prefer sitting more upright, and when I'm cycling over grass and doing some tours, I would lean more a bit further in the front. But definitely, as you can see, I'm having a lot of fun with this bicycle. So thumbs up, Mokwheel, a really cool bike. Well, this bicycle is for people starting from 165 centimeters up to 2 meters. I'm in the middle with 175 centimeters. And as you can see, the saddle is out a bit and the sitting position was rather upright. And this is very interesting and cool. This bike can carry up to 160 kilograms. So this is really a lot. I could take someone on this pretty cool rear carrier easily. So this bicycle is actually for 2 adults. I really like that you can load it a lot, but I really also like the design of the rear rack with the wood and the branding. That's definitely very cool and very nice. This bicycle also comes with fenders and a bike stand, so it's perfectly equipped for like no matter how the weather conditions are. Hello! No, not interested in the bicycle, but that's okay. Also very important are the pedals. I like the design, as you probably know when you saw a couple of my reviews. I always I'm keen on very beautiful pedals. These are really cool, but they also work. They're platform pedals and you do not slip at all. When you do check out the price of this bicycle, it's 2,300 euros, but always check us because they do offer different promotions every now and then. So maybe subscribe to the newsletter and check out the website regularly. I would say it's a reasonable price. It's a very special bike and it really depends on what you're looking for. Is it a classic commuter? Are you touring a lot? Are you a nature guy? Then this bicycle could be a really, really good choice for you.